this is huge, huge news. Iran and Iraq have signed a railway deal. They've been planning this thing for years, okay? And now they've finally done it. And this is very important because it plays into the infrastructure of the entire Silk Road, right? Remember the Silk Road, the ancient Silk Road, which is the most famous and important trade route in human history. Look how far this thing stretched, right? All the way from China to what is today, Constantinople. Sorry, the other way around. Constantinople, which is today Istanbul. I mean, this is a project that China is reviving now with the new Silk Road. Same plan. Build a corridor, a land bridge between all these countries, whether it's maritime or I said land bridge, so either land bridge or maritime, to promote growth, economic growth, promote trade, and it benefits everybody equally, right? And now Iran and Iraq have started work on this rail link. I mean, I can't stress enough how important this is. The idea, if you look at the map, okay, so the red part in the north and the green, okay, so the southern green routes, these would be part of the land bridge, okay? So the southern route has upper and lower branches that pass respectively through Abu Kamal and Al Tanaf. Remember, these are Abu Kamal is basically on the border with Iraq over there, and Al Tanaf is also at the intersection of the Jordanian, Iraqi, and Syrian borders, right? So this is so important. You see what's going on here? Basically, this is going to help Syria. It will help Lebanon. It will help Iraq. It will help Iran. And, this is precisely what I meant when I said that the Americans want to sabotage and isolate the resistance axis. It's not only about, neutering or neutralizing what they claim is a threat to peace in the region. You're not even from the goddamn region. Mind your business. The same goes for the Israelis. They're just Europeans. So this is why they want to destroy it, because Iran, helps the resistance in Lebanon, so Hezbollah in southern Lebanon. Iran also supports the resistance in Syria, right? Help defeat ISIS, help defeat Al-Qaeda. Iran supports the Palestinians, whether it's PIJ or it's Hamas, doesn't matter. In recent years, the resistance has become so strong and more and more unified. That is what is so crazy. The Israelis and Americans thought they can divide and rule, but actually they've just done the opposite. Hezbollah is stronger than ever. Syria did not fall despite, dozens of countries and actors trying to destroy it. The Hashd al-Sha'bi, which is the Popular Mobilization Units or Popular Mobilization Forces, PMU, PMF, in Iraq, they also helped defeat ISIS, right? And they were supported by Iran. The Palestinians, look how they destroyed the Israeli attack on Jenin. They completely took them by surprise. All of these factions are stronger today. They are able to resist American and Israeli occupation more effectively than before. And ironically, this is the same thing that's happening economically. Just like we tried in the West to isolate Russia, what happened? The whole world saw $300 billion being stolen from Russia's central bank and was like, yo, screw this. We are not trusting you with anything. Your whole system is rigged, right? We're going to de-dollarize. We're going to make our own alternative to SWIFT, which actually China and Russia had already created before. But now they expanded that, and also the payment system with Mir, linked it with Chinese Union Pay, expanded it in Turkey. Iran, Venezuela wanted it. I mean, this is nuts. You got oil being sold, oil transactions being denominated in currencies other than the dollar. The Russians have so many rupees because they're selling oil to India in massive, unbelievable quantities, right? which the Indians actually just like mix a little bit with, or dilute or either mix with something else, and then it says, oh, it's from India when it's actually from Russia. So the West, we're still buying Russian oil, but at a more expensive price because it has to go through India first, because we're complete morons. Well done. Well, we're not morons. It's the people in Whitehall and Brussels and Washington who, are okay because their expenses, are paid for by the taxpayer, so they don't get affected, right? What happened? Attempting to isolate Russia completely backfired. People go and build a new system. This is the new system. That is the new system. This is not a coincidence that you have these coups in Gabon and Niger. People in Gabon and Niger are seeing what is transpiring in the world. BRICS is growing. Shanghai Cooperation Organization is growing. De-dollarization is slowly, but surely picking up pace. This infrastructure that will be part of the Belt and Road Initiative or the New Silk Road, picking up pace. The whole world is changing right before our eyes. It's honestly astonishing. It's really astonishing. And this is good. This is very good. This is not, let me be clear. This is not going to be like some highway express for, like a high-speed train that delivers rockets to Syria and and Hezbollah, although one can wish. Now, they make it sound like it's so good to supply Ukraine with weapons that, we have to pay for that threaten our security because we escalate with Russia, and then the risk of nuclear war becomes greater. But if Iran gives any weapons to Syria, malign activities in the region. Everybody say together, malign activities in the region. This is more for trade and economic purposes, okay? Nevertheless, this is the unification of the entire resistance axis, both militarily, politically, and economically. Right? And this is good for China. China will now have access to the Mediterranean Sea. Iran will have access to the Mediterranean Sea. Do you know what is going to happen? Iran has so much oil in storage that it's just like waiting to be bought. Just waiting to be bought. I'm a little rusty on my figures, but it's easily beyond the millions of barrels, right? Without question. This is after, of course, Trump, the great genius, and he's so anti establishment, right, that he just did everything Israel wants, and the military industrial complex, and put sanctions on Syria. He also pulled out from the nuclear deal and put sanctions on Iran. So Iran now, it's much harder for Iran to sell its oil compared to before. Okay, not impossible, but just more difficult. And Europe, because Europe has now isolated itself. Again, well done, from Russia. Europe needs gas. Europe needs oil. So where's this oil going to come from? Qatar is one option. There's liquefied natural gas, but this is so expensive. Another option, of course, proposed by the Americans, right, who have no economic incentive whatsoever to blow up Nord Stream and make sure that no Russian oil and gas can be bought. They also have liquefied natural gas to sell. Oh, what a coincidence, right? It just costs, 4 times more, and has to arrive by ship, and then you need special hubs that can actually offload it, which don't exist. Germany doesn't even have a single one. Terminals, rather. Hopeless, absolutely hopeless. Iran is a potential contender as a new source of gas and oil for Europe. Absolutely, why not? Even to the United States, if they would, if the government there, or rather the corporation that runs the government, would wisen up, right? So now with access to the Mediterranean Sea, think how easy it would be. Think how exciting, right? And good this would be economically for Iran to offload all the gas and oil that it's able to sell. Remember, Iran is not just one of the top oil producers in the world. It has the second largest proven reserve of natural gas in the world. Russia is number 1, Iran is number 2, right? But you're supposed to hate them because they won't give us the resources, right? Remember that. They're evil. So look at the potential here. Iraq, also a top oil producer, now also access to the Mediterranean Sea. And of course, this goes both ways, right? Syria, before Turkey and the US and the UK and the EU and Qatar destroyed it, used to be one of the top producers of cotton, of wheat. Syria was a net exporter of wheat, right? So think of how this would be good for Syria's reconstruction and economic rehabilitation, to be able to export. If, of course, the Americans leave the 1/3 of Syria that they occupy, having this breadbasket region and all the goods that could be exported, it's also good. It goes both ways, right? So it's just good. I like to see this because in Europe, it's so you can go jump in a train, with for example an Interrail ticket in France, and just go to the other side of the continent and back, and you can go wherever you want. The infrastructure is there. It makes me happy to see this same infrastructure being built in the countries that were occupied and colonized and had their resources stolen, so that America, so that Britain, so that Europe could build their corridors, their highways, and all the nice things that so-called developed countries enjoy, right? So this makes me happy. This is a good thing. Now, of course, because Wall Street cannot control it, they will make you think, oh, it's bad, and they'll try to destroy it and so on. This is why America wants to connect the air base at El Tanaf that it has with the 1/3 of Syria that it occupies up here, right? So east of the Euphrates River. That way they isolate Syria from Iraq. That way Iraq cannot do anything with the Mediterranean Sea. Neither can Iran, neither can China. And the whole thing is screwed up, right? This is not an accident that the Americans picked this place to occupy. It's not just because of the oil. I know, people like to make jokes and think, and the first thing that they think of is the oil. You're right. Of course it's the oil. It's always been the oil, all right? Since Iraq and before. But it's not only that. There is so much, the West cannot accept and cannot handle the idea of BRICS, of Shanghai Cooperation Organization, of Belt and Road Initiative. They cannot handle the idea that the countries they colonized are now free or will be free. Look how the French are in denial. Macron won't even bring his fucking ambassador home. What do do you see how they won't let go? What do you think they're going to do when it comes to things like this? This is very, very important and very, very good. And you need to know about it. Because the mainstream media definitely, they sure ain't going to tell you.